Around 10 p.m. on Thursday, July 17, 2025, the manager of a hotel in the Ayobo Ipaja area of Lagos State, Nigeria, was performing his regular evening routine when he heard some sounds that would mark the beginning of a very horrible discovery. He had made his way to fuel the generator that would keep the building running throughout the night. It was supposed to be just another ordinary task in what had appeared like an ordinary day. But as he approached the generator, he heard some strange noises coming from one of the guest rooms. The noises were disturbing and sounded almost like screams coming from a person who was in danger. Unknown to the hotel manager, another guest staying in the room right next to the source of the noise had also heard the strange sounds. The guest, who identified himself simply as Adio, had checked into the hotel on Wednesday, just one day before this fateful evening. He would later reveal that while he had noticed the strange noises coming from the room beside his own, he didn't think much of it at first. If only he knew that those sounds would be the final cries of an innocent woman fighting for her life. The hotel manager couldn't ignore what he was hearing, so he quickly called for a security operative who arrived at the scene within minutes. Together, they approached the room where the disturbing noises had been coming from. The security operative knocked on the door, hoping to get some kind of response from whoever was inside. However, no matter how hard they knocked, all they got was heavy silence. With growing concern, the security operative made a decision that would reveal the true horror of what had happened inside the hotel room. He retrieved the spare key to the room and slowly opened the door, only to find the body of a young woman in a pool of her own blood. The scene was so gruesome that it was immediately clear to them that what they had just witnessed was not an accident or natural death. It was a clear case of murder that had been carried out in the most brutal way imaginable. The discovery of the body created panic and confusion within the hotel. The manager and other staff members quickly raised an alarm while they made efforts to identify the guests who had booked the affected room. A quick check revealed that the room had been booked by 3 people and that 2 out of the 3 guests had already fled the scene, leaving the possibility of the 3rd guest still hiding within the premises. A search within the hotel premises was quickly initiated, and it was during this desperate search that luck finally seemed to favor justice. One of the hotel staff members spotted movement near the hotel gate. A man was trying to run toward the exit, clearly attempting to escape the building without being noticed. The staff member quickly alerted others, and together they managed to corner the fleeing suspect. The man they caught was identified as Amos Daniel, also known by his street name Gambit. He was said to be a cultist and also one of the 3 people who had earlier checked into the room where the murder had taken place. When Daniel realized that he had been caught, he began to panic, but there was nowhere left for him to run to. The angry hotel staff didn't wait for the authorities. They began dealing with Daniel on the spot, demanding answers about what had happened inside that room. Investigation revealed that Daniel had first booked the hotel room around 1 p.m. on that Thursday afternoon, but he didn't check in alone, which shows that what happened was clearly a planned operation involving multiple people. Daniel had arrived at the hotel around 5 p.m. with some friends, thereby making it look like a normal group of young people looking for a place to stay. The hotel staff had no reason to suspect that these guests would bring death and terror to their establishment. While Daniel and his friends checked in together, a young woman joined them later. This woman would later be identified simply as Endurance, a young lady from Akwa Ibom State who had no idea that she was walking into a death trap. The events that took place in the room between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. remain a mystery that investigators are still trying to piece together. But what is clear is that at some point during those 5 hours, Daniel and his accomplices made a decision that would end an innocent woman's life in the most brutal way possible. According to the confession made by Daniel while being beaten by the hotel staff, he admitted that he had conspired with his 2 friends to kill Endurance for money ritual purposes. When the Lagos State Police finally arrived at the scene, they found themselves dealing with one of the most disturbing cases they had encountered that week. The hotel manager had reported the incident to the Ayobo police station on Friday, the day after the murder had taken place. According to the police investigation, Endurance had been stabbed multiple times in different parts of her body. The suspects had attacked her in the stomach, on the left side of her head, and on the upper side of her ribs. It was also revealed that while the hotel staff pursued Daniel and eventually caught him, A dagger had fallen from his body. This weapon was suspected to be the same one used to commit the terrible crime. But the investigation didn't stop there. The police also visited his home, where they discovered a battle axe, a cutlass, a machete, jackknives, a laptop, savage jungle boots, a local sponge, and a big pair of scissors. This collection of weapons and tools suggested that Daniel had been planning violent activities for some time, and that the murder of Endurance might not have been his first crime. While investigators worked to build their case against Daniel, the body of Endurance was evacuated from the hotel room and then transported to Mainland General Hospital in Yaba, where it was deposited in the mortuary. The police arranged for an autopsy to be conducted, which would provide crucial evidence about exactly how Endurance died and what she suffered in her final moments. This medical examination would become a key part of the case against her alleged killers. What happened to Endurance is just one among the numerous other cases that show the disturbing reality of ritual killings that continue to plague some parts of Nigeria. It is just so disheartening to know that people lose their lives to others just because they believe that human sacrifice can bring them power or wealth. Daniel's alleged confession that he and his friends killed Endurance for ritual purposes shows just how dangerous these beliefs can be. If the allegations are true, then Endurance died not because of anything she did, but simply because some people believed her death could benefit them in some supernatural way. The Lagos State Police Command has taken the case very seriously. They have transferred all evidence and the suspect to the State Criminal Investigation Department at Yaba for what they describe as a discreet investigation. This transfer indicates that authorities recognize the serious nature of the crime and want to ensure that every aspect is thoroughly investigated. The case remains under investigation as authorities continue their work to bring all those responsible to justice. The two other suspects who fled the scene are still at large, and police are likely working to track them down and ensure that they face the consequences of their alleged actions. What do you think can be done to stop ritual killings in Nigeria? Share your views in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more true crime stories.